Alright, so all of us can relate to this problem as an adult. It's not very fun. But I think we can all agree that as an adult, paying the rent just sucks balls sometimes. But here's what you can do if you ever fall behind. What's up, everybody? I'm Amarx Games, and today we're talking about what you can do to help you pay the rent if you're not going to pay the rent on time. So here's what to do. So the first thing you can do is that consult your landlord way ahead of time, because the earlier you do it, saying that you can't pay your rent on time, the more your landlord could be willing to work with you. It's not always a guarantee that things are going to work out the way you want it to, but there's a better chance of the landlord understanding if you tell them ahead of time, especially if you have a job and you're working. The best way to go about this is be super direct to your landlord and just tell them that, hey, I'm going to be late on rent. I'm very sorry. I'm kind of struggling right now, but because things do happen in life and you just don't know how it could get to that situation all the time, but it does happen. But you can tell your landlord, yeah, I'm going to be late on rent, but here's the date. I'm going to tell you I'm going to have this rent ready. And now the two things could happen. Your landlord could still be a dick and be like, hey, you're still got a late fee and everything. I'm sorry about this, but you're going to have to pay the late fee. Or they might be a little lenient and nice and not waive the late fee, because sometimes especially in this economy, some landlords would be nice to help you out. It just really depends. Another thing you can do in order to avoid paying the rent late, if you can, is that try to join the local temp agency where you could try to perform a task for the day or get a task for the day and do a job at a random location for the job site. Now, a lot of these can do hospitality, events, or just anything in general that involves, labor, some type of physical labor. Now, what kind of sucks is that not all of these type of jobs are always available at the moment, because right now in my area, it's winter. There's a lot of snowstorms and everything, and there's not a lot of cool events going on. And the last thing I did kind of work was the Crown Center event in Kansas City, like I said a while back. But other than that, since Christmas is over, that there's really not a lot going on at the moment until probably around March, where spring opens up and there's a lot more sporting events opening up, like baseball and everything. If you ever get behind on paying rent and everything and you need to catch up pretty quickly, is that also try to go to like a bank that you have, like sometimes you can use a loan a little bit and try to get a small loan. Now, this is not always recommended for anyone who's got bad credit or doesn't have a lot of money. But if you're really desperate to pay the rent and you're too terrified to get evicted or something, because it depends on the landlord you have too. Some landlords are just really shitty. So it just really depends on what type of person is willing to work with you. But definitely try to consult some type of a loan if you can. Like, yes, pay it back as soon as possible too. Because if you don't pay that loan, especially if you got like $1,000 loan, it can get very ugly quickly. And you don't want that. Now, this next one kind of depends on how attractive you are, but if you're willing to sleep with your landlord in order to get the rent paid or for them to make up for it, go for it, because, this economy's kind of crazy and everything. And if you're a single guy and you need to fucking, get the rent paid, go sleep with your landlord, bro, because, it's going to be a lot of a fucking stress if you don't get this shit caught up. Okay. Don't actually sleep with the landlord, okay? Because that's actually a terrible idea. Even if you are single, like, why would you want to sleep with the landlord besides paying the rent, And obviously, you don't know how pretty they are too. They could be old as crap, but yeah, don't actually do it. Now, this method I'm actually going to tell you is it's not always recommended, but if you do got any family members or any peers or friends that's willing to give you some type of money to borrow and pay them back to pay the rent if you really need to in order for you to prevent from being homeless, take advantage of that opportunity, but do not take advantage of your friends, because asking for money is one thing, and it's a very important thing. And a lot of the time, friends and money just don't seem to mix very well. But be very cautious before making this decision, because if you are fucking careless about it, you're going to probably get really pissed off people in your life, like your friends and stuff, like harping at you for owing them money and stuff. So be very careful when it comes to borrowing money, because if you don't pay that money back, yeah, that's going to get really scary and very ugly real quickly as well. Also, make sure to be a great tenant by just paying your rent on time in multiple months on if you can, because like if you're a great tenant, there's a good chance that you might have some leniency from your landlord, especially if it doesn't happen very often. Like for me, I barely ever be late on rent. Like the only time I've ever been late on rent was probably one time in like 3 years, because I had something come up where I had to pay for something important, and it fucking sucked because I didn't really want to, get behind on on rent. And I ain't gonna lie, it's extremely stressful and it's not fun. But yes, I did get get some leniency, and they actually did waive my late fee, and that was kind of nice. Now, there's some people who did get a job at the leasing office in order to save a little bit of money on their rent, or at least to be able to get some type of discount and everything, because like apparently if you work at some leasing offices, sometimes they'll be nice enough to give you like a really small percentage discount. Like it's not a really big one or nothing, but it is kind of nice to get a discount on rent of any kind just because you're working for them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, if you guys, I guess, need some type of discount on rent or in order for you to pay it, or if you're really behind and you need something to kind of get you ahead as a second job, apparently getting a job at a leasing office will definitely help you. It depends on the company though. And the last thing you can do in order for you to get by, or if you're really behind on rent, is try to apply for an assistant program, where if you're really struggling with rent and everything, is that there's some programs online that you could find for your local area. It just varies where you live, where you can apply for an assistant program to help pay your rent or some portion of your rent or some type of bill, because there's programs also for utility bills and stuff, which is kind of cool. But if you really are struggling that bad, there really is programs that really help you out, because I have a few friends that do use some of these programs sometimes, and I don't really have a lot of friends that will rely on this stuff, but there's some that did get into some financial trouble because they were the ones with families usually, and the ones who have to spend a lot of money just in order just to get by or provide for their children. Now, it's very important to always be proactive when trying to find ways to catch up on paying rent, because you'd be surprised what you could really do if you had a great attitude, because I started applying this type of attitude and mindset around like 7 or 8 years ago, basically when I graduated my high school, because I used to really not apply myself much into like, when I was doing schoolwork, but into the real world, it really did change a lot once I started working and everything, because that's when I changed my mindset about being patient with shifts at work and everything. It just completely changed the whole game for me, and it should be able to change for you too. But once you're able to get that thing changed, you can almost do anything, it feels like. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know if any of these tips have really helped y'all, because I have took advantage of a lot of these and they really did benefit me, because it really is amazing what could really happen and what you could do if you just apply yourself and change your attitude about certain things. Because with a certain attitude, it really can get you really far, and it really has changed my life for the past 7 years. When I was in high school, I did struggle a lot with trying to get some type of discipline because I have untreated ADHD, and my mom would always tell me in my ear that I have some type of disability and I just can't do certain things. But once you can tell yourself you can do something, man, it really does fucking change your whole world, and it makes you stop listening to what the others think too, including your own family, and you should be able to pursue everything that you want to do on your own terms. I also appreciate everyone that's been patient about me not uploading as much. I've had a lot of life events happen to me, including finding someone romantic, right? Well, that's going to be another topic for another video, but right now, this year has been pretty good so far. Life is just really awesome, and I'm just trying everything I could do to try to, provide more content, because your boy is also trying to get a laptop, right? Because I want to get some type of laptop so I can start doing these videos mobilely for you guys, so I can be more consistent while I'm out doing my stuff and trying to pursue my wants and needs as well. Alrighty, everybody. Y'all stay positive, and I'll see you later.